Hi everyone. So today I kind of wanted to make a short video about what is the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath. And it's not really that straightforward. These words seem to just be labels that medical professionals at some point just adopted to describe something that they really sort of didn't understand. The most important part of these words is the suffix path. And if you look up the definition for the word path, it states that it means disease. And if you go further and look up the exact definition of disease, for our situation, it means a disorder of function of a human, especially one that provides specific signs and symptoms. So basically, a pathological disorder is going to be one that's easily recognized because it's going to exhibit certain signs and symptoms that are specifically different from a normal function. So if you take the word socio, which means basically a society or social, and you connect it with the word path, it basically means a disorder in social function. So to me, this might mean someone who just has a hard time functioning in a society or a group of people, someone who suffers in a group. They can't read social cues, they can't benefit from social interaction. They're just not functioning as a piece of the chain or as a normal cog in a wheel. They're standing out, there's something wrong. And if you look at the root word psyche, it basically means spirit, soul, mind. This is suggesting that the person who has a psychopathy just has a disorder of the mind. There's something wrong with their mind. Their mind is not functioning properly. I did a quick Google search on these two terms, and according to WebMD, these terms, psychopathy and sociopathy, do not appear in the DSM manual. And I have a background in medicine, not in psychology. I've just done amateur research in the psychology field, but I was actually surprised to hear this because you do hear these terms being thrown around, especially when brand new, serial killers come out. They're immediately labeled as psychopaths. So the official diagnosis that someone would get would be the term antisocial personality disorder. And once again, according to WebMD, this personality disorder is just characterized by disregard for other people. I'm sure there's more to it, but that little one-sentence description, it seems sort of generalized to me. So then you have the term narcissism, and the term narcissist or narcissism can have different meanings. It can be used as a noun, an adjective, or a verb. So you can say that someone's a narcissist, and that doesn't necessarily mean they have a narcissistic personality disorder. Most often, people with antisocial personality disorder, that is a huge, major part of their disorder. They are also narcissists, but the overshadowing pathology with them is definitely the antisocial personality disorder. Not all narcissists have antisocial personality disorder. Some people are just narcissistic, but they don't necessarily have psychopathy or sociopathy or antisocial. So this is just my personal opinion on the difference of a psychopath, a sociopath, and a narcissist. The narcissism or the narcissistic personality, that comes first. So I think narcissists are either born and then they just get worse and progress, or they're created. They're created because narcissism is used as a sort of survival tactic that the person has to develop in order to survive a trauma or or a period that they went through also in their childhood where they were extremely neglected. And that can be a whole nother video where you talk about personality disorders as being a sort of evolutionary trait or advantage. And some people stop at the narcissistic personality. They still have relationships. They can still remain functioning within social norms. It's kind of an up and down yo-yo situation with the narcissist because they realize that they feed off of other people and that other people are necessary to their survival, but they do ruin every relationship they have. So they're stuck in this endless cycle where it's kill, repeat, just the new relationships over and over and over for the rest of their life. They don't really form meaningful relationships, although they're always seeking relationships. And I think the sociopath is a progression of the narcissistic personality. At this point, they don't really care as much about other people and relationships as much as just a narcissistic person would. So I think the sociopath, they are going to do things, break the law. They're going to do things and they don't want to be found out. Paranoia is a huge part of any personality disorder because anybody that has a personality disorder does not have a healthy sense of self. And they're constantly trying to keep this mask on, and they're constantly trying to not be found out, and they're constantly paranoid that they're going to be found out. And so the sociopath and the narcissist are going to do everything that they can do to not be found out, but the sociopath is going to do things like financial fraud and things that they think they can get away with. And paranoid personality, or the paranoia, that's a whole nother video. And I am speaking from personal experience. I've had very close, long-term personal experience and relationships with people that are severely mentally disordered, and they do talk to themselves. Like, they actually do hear voices in their head. They're consumed by paranoia. They suffer from it extremely. So now we have psychopathy, and this is once again a progression of sociopathy. Anyone with psychopathy is going to have narcissistic personality and sociopathy, but psychopathy is, to me, in my personal opinion, is a progression where there is a line that is crossed. So you've heard of people going off the deep end. This is a psychopath. A psychopath, it just, at some point in their life, just says screw it, and they start committing more serious crimes like murder, torture, things like that, things that a sociopath typically wouldn't do. So to me, once someone has crossed the line, they are completely way more dangerous than a sociopath or a narcissist. At this point, I feel like they are suffering from their mental disorder. Their brain has completely malfunctioned at this point. Even people like Ted Bundy, if you believe his story, he tried to control his impulses and his urges, but something in him just took over and he couldn't control it anymore. And psychopaths, I believe, are driven by their desires, and they have dark desires to overpower other people, almost like their brain is stuck in a primal state. So I feel like this psychopaths, I feel like they are operating from a more primal brain where it's fight or flight, do or die, survival of the fittest. Basically, they're perceiving threats that aren't actually there. I also have another theory about how scarcity creates a rise in narcissism, just as an evolutionary measure. And maybe people that were back in the day. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe people that had these characteristics where they are going to further themselves over anyone else. They're going to steal resources from other people. That is what dictated survival. So yeah, the psychopath is perceiving threats that aren't there. People must be eliminated. People are to submit to your desires. And psychopaths don't really care about social norms. They don't care about being nice. They don't care about being polite. They don't care about benefiting from the things that you would benefit from if you're a healthy, functioning member of society. So it's almost like they're de-evolved. If you think about it, if you live in a social setting and you can healthily function in a social setting, you can share resources with people, you can have support from people, you can share burdens, you can overall, further your own well-being by being a healthy, functioning member of a society. So let me know what you think. Do you think psychopathy is a de-evolution back to a more primal state, or do you think that it is a evolutionary jump forward where maybe people like this were necessary in the past to eliminate threats, to take risks, to further, the well-being of the overall society? Let me know what you think. I'm definitely conflicted on it myself. I'll end the video here. Hopefully this video made you think, and I do have one more video planned, but if you have any questions, leave them below. Thanks.